Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 3rd May 2020. The articles for today's discussion are listed over here and their respective pages on Hyderabad and Bangalore editions are being stated here. And today we are discussing only the Hindu news articles under the targeted news analysis. Today being Sunday, we don't have editorial analysis. The first article for discussion is States Scrape the Barrel as Revenues Dry Up. An article which is related to this is Pandemic Jolts Prudent Tamil Nadu's Calculations. You know, the COVID 19 virus and the economic shutdown and lockdown related to this have shattered the finances of companies, governments, and the state situation has become much worse. You know that in our constitutional distribution of financial resources, states have very few sources of finances. That is the reason why, whenever this situation has come up, the first that got worst affected are the states. So, in this context, let us try to analyze this article. Let us understand some background to understand this article. If you see distribution or division of resources, financial resources, between the states and the center, the situation is like this. The center has the most remunerative taxes and the states have few remunerative taxes. So if you see income tax, other than agriculture is in the center's list. Income tax only on agriculture in the state's list. You know, no political party in power can take a risk of imposing an income tax on agriculture. So like that, non-remunerative taxes are in the state list. Then what is the major source of income to the states? One is sales tax. Today it is a share in the GST. And second is taxes on petroleum products. And then excise, especially sale of alcohol. And then we have certain other minimal sources of incomes like registration of vehicles and stamp duties with regard to buying and selling of land. So these are the sources of income to the states. Now in this case, all these have come to a dry because of the lockdown. You know, Maruti did not sell even a single car, and no other company could have sold any cars. So when there is no car sale, obviously GST is lost to the both center and the states. And second is the worst affected will be the states because these are the few sources of the revenue they had. And the third thing, not just with no movement of the vehicles, the tax revenues on the petroleum products have gone down and there is no buying or selling of the land. So that's why stamp duties are almost zero. So if you take the Telangana, which is supposed to get around 4,000 to 5,000 crores of revenue per month, it is now reduced to around 2 crore rupees. So the biggest challenge is how to open the economy from the lockdown situation. So this is the state government's finances, they are in a peril. Now, let me ask you another question. Just with a month of lockdown or 7 days into lockdown, the state governments have announced that they will not pay the full salaries to their employees. So Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, all they have deferred payment of the salaries to their employees, and they finally have announced that they are going to pay only 50% of the salary. So what does this indicate, sir? So the worst side of the financial management in India. See carefully. Most of the state governments, they are indulged in revenue expenditure rather than capital expenditure. What is revenue expenditure? On various subsidies and then welfare programs. They want to spend on populistic programs. The expenditure on populistic programs is on rise. That's why financial discipline of the state governments is in peril even before lockdown. So it shall be shame on the financial management of the state governments that with just 7 days of lockdown, they have failed to pay to their employees. Now let's come to the center. To an extent, center is able to maintain fiscal discipline compared to the states. But however, economic slowdown before lockdown made the center to use the escape clause, that is, to increase the fiscal space by 0.5%, the fiscal deficit by 0.5%. So, in this context, what are the options we have between the center and the states? One is supply more money to the states. So, the states demand from the center to give more money to them. So, allow or give us more grants, that is the demand of the states. And the second thing is allow us to borrow the money, allow us to borrow more and more money. And third, obviously, this borrowing is going to breach the fiscal deficit and revenue deficit targets. So, lift the fiscal deficit and revenue deficit targets so that we can borrow at our will. And the next is print the money liberally. So, Telangana Chief Minister Chandrasekhar Rao is talking about helicopter money and then quantitative easing. So, now, the corona lockdown has shown us one critical thing. Financial prudence is essential for the governments even during normal circumstances. Excessive expenditure in the name of populism and welfareism can kneel down the governments to a simple crisis or to any crisis like this. So that's why, remember again, the government shall ensure the financial prudence. They have to invest in the capital expenditure that can generate the resources and revenues in the long term. So, revenue expenditure is essential, but it shall not override the capital expenditure. This is the point. Here, the example is given of Tamil Nadu. So, the same pattern from where the money is coming to Tamil Nadu is explained in the article. That is more like a case study. So, the revenues are drying up. And what shall be the new sources of revenue, how states are dependent on the center, and what center is expected to do. These are the fine prints of this particular article. The next article for discussion, it is, can antibody tests help tackle COVID-19? So this article is about the reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, RT-PCR, versus rapid test kits which have come up. So let us compare these two and what are the problem with the rapid test kits and why ICMR is worried about them. Let us see it this way. Let us see the highlights of this. How the rapid test kits, which are also called antibody tests, will work. So our body, it has a natural immunological response to any pathogen. Let's take a virus has entered in our body. Then our immune system will respond to this. How the immune system will respond? It produces antibodies. So two major types of antibodies. In the first time infection, it is IgM followed by IgG. So the rapid test kits, they collect our blood sample and they check for the antibodies that are existing in our blood. Now my question is, when these antibodies will develop, how many days time is required? So 9 to 21 days time is required for antibodies development after infection. Second thing is, if certain people have immunodeficiency, either they might be HIV patients, AIDS patients, or cancer patients, or recovering from organ transplantation, all these people might be on immunosuppressants. Among these people, you don't see production of any antibodies. So that's why even if they are affected with coronavirus, no antibodies will be detected in their blood. It means the rapid test kits, they are testing the body response to a particular virus. Now, RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, what it is doing, through a throat swab, they will collect a sample. It means they are taking the virus sample. So, the nucleic acid of the virus sample is further multiplied to check it in the laboratory. It means in the RT-PCR, the virus is collected, sample is collected, and then it is taken into the lab and it is multiplied in the lab and then it is checked in the lab. So that's why you are not testing a body response here, you are directly testing the existence of virus. So obviously among these two, that is rapid antibody test and then RT-PCR, which is expected to be more accurate. Obviously, RT-PCR is expected to be more accurate. Now, but many of the governments have imported various test kits from Korea, South Korea, and China. So, here the issues are related to sensitivity and specificity. So, they are low on sensitivity. It means that they are giving false negative cases. It means though there is a disease, they are reflecting that the patient have no disease. It means, let's take the immigrant labor are moving across the states now. The states wants to do rapid tests to them so that they can be allowed to their native places. In this context, when we take the blood sample and it shows a negative test, we are going to free them up. But they may have a positive virus, they may have infected, but these tests may miss them. So these are called false negatives are very high with these antibody tests. It may be due to poor immunological response of the body or lack of sensitivity of the test. So that is the reason why these tests cannot be relied on. If we rely on these tests and we release these people into the community, that can lead to the spread of the virus. That is what is the apprehension expressed by the ICMR. Now, let us understand how we can use these test kits. Let's take, if we randomly test in a community, we will know how many of the people, how much percentage of the people carry these antibodies with them. It means we can calculate the community level immunity against the virus. It means the herd immunity, how to what extent it has developed, we can calculate through this. The next article for discussion is debt and mutual funds. So this article is written in the context of Franklin Templeton's closure of certain schemes. And we need to understand why the Franklin Templeton, a renowned mutual fund belonging to America, has to close these schemes in India. We have to understand the background related to that. So we need to have certain understanding of the mutual funds to understand this topic further. Let me explain you this. Mutual funds, how they work. So various investors, a group of investors, they pool up their money and they make a fund, and this fund will be managed by a specialist manager who is called as a mutual fund manager. This mutual fund, they will invest the money into various financial instruments. What these financial instruments can be: equity based investments or debt based investments. If they are investing in the shares, they are called equity. If they are debt funds, it means they are investing in the money market. This money market can be government bonds, and then these bonds can be private company bonds or like commercial paper. And whatever the benefits which are been coming, these will be shared to the investors. So this is how this particular thing happens. Now, the Franklin Templeton funds, these are debt funds. These are called debt funds. Be careful. It means the mutual fund Franklin Templeton, I am writing it as FT. It has invested in various debt funds. So in which companies? Private companies. So private companies, here there is something called risk. Government bonds are least risky and the returns are also low. When we go to the private companies, best performing companies will have low returns, and poor performing companies may offer the better returns in the form of interest. In this context, what it has been said is the mutual fund Franklin Templeton holds the AAA rated bonds and AA rated bonds. These are not junk bonds. It means they have invested in good quality companies only. Now, once they finance it to these companies, what will happen? There is a maturity period for these bonds. When they have lended the money to these companies, there is a maturity period for each bond. Only after the maturity period they can get the money. And if these investors, due to one or the other reason, wants to withdraw their money from the fund before the maturity period, then obviously it is a crisis situation. And normal circumstances, some investors may be moving out, new investors may be joining the fund. That's how the crisis is avoided. There is an inflow and there is an outflow. Let us take, I am running Law Excellence and I have to pay the salaries of my employees, which is close to 60 lakh rupees per month. So, if I have invested in this mutual fund in the normal days, mutual fund, when I withdrew, they might be getting the money from some other source, the balance is maintained. Today, as I don't have any income as an investor, say, today, if I have regular flow of income in Law Excellence, I would have paid the salaries through that. As my regular flow of income is stopped because of COVID-19, what I will do, whatever the investments where I have invested, I try to withdraw them. So, like that, investors are withdrawing the money from various mutual funds. When the investors are withdrawing the money, that is what we call it as redemption. So the redemption pressures have increased on Franklin Templeton mutual fund schemes. And there is no inflow because no one are coming and investing in the fund now. And people who are withdrawing from the funds have increased. Obviously, because of redemption pressures, whatever the cash buffer which they had to meet these emergencies is over. When the cash buffer is over, these people have to sell their bonds. When they sell bonds in desperation, what will happen? People will ask them for pennies. So though they are AAA rated, people will ask them at a very discount rate. So the value of those particular bonds will get nullified or will become very low because that's a desperate sale. So in this context, see the moral hazard over here. The people who want to redeem, if we are paying them by selling all the assets, that is bonds which they had, what about the others who are not redeeming? They will not have anything left out in the fund tomorrow. It means you are harming the people who are believing you and staying with the fund and paying the people who wants to redeem. So that's where the things will go wrong. So in this context, see again, I'm saying this point, be careful. Let's take a farmer is there. He has some 10 acres as the asset. He is in debt. So the people, when they are redeeming their money, so then he sold these 10 acres of the land and paid it. So whoever are demanding the money, he is selling and paying them off. Then the nice people who don't want to demand him in these circumstances, does he left with anything to pay them in the future? Nothing. This is what is the moral hazard Franklin Templeton was facing. In that context, what was the decision taken by the trustees of Franklin Templeton to close the fund? What is meant by closing of the fund? No inflows and no outflows. It means no redemption, no incoming or taking the investments into the fund. So let us wait till situation gets normalized. That is how this thing is being stated as. This is what is called closure of the fund. Now what the RBI is doing, let us maintain the liquidity of the mutual funds. Liquidity means let's maintain the cash available with the mutual funds. How can this cash increased with the mutual funds to pay back to the redeemers or the people who are withdrawing? That is through providing them with borrowings. Providing them with something called borrowings. So RBI has given special window of 50,000 crore rupees which the banks are expected to lend to mutual funds. Now, will the banks do that? Already banks themselves are in a crisis situation and mutual funds, their values are coming down. Why their values are coming down? The bonds where they have invested, they themselves are losing their value. In this context, can the banks risk to provide loans to the mutual funds? That is the question before. So second thing, if the Franklin Templeton closed the fund, what the regulators are doing? As per the SEBI Act, the regulators can act on this, but the act itself says that the trustees of the mutual fund can make a decision on the closure of the fund. So, in this context, the Act provides for the necessary scope to this, and regulator really can't do anything. So, this is my view onto this. The next article for discussion it is, now is the time for the center to use its mints. Again, already I have discussed this article. What essentially it is suggesting is this: we have to use more money to flush into the economy to revive the economy. It means these are the ideas which are close to Telangana Chief Minister. He is also proposing that the government has to go for quantitative easing and helicopter money. So it means print more money and pump the money into the economy. And second thing, he also says the fiscal deficit targets need to be revived. And the third most important thing, make India a tax haven. Indirectly, he was proposing this. Now, the Apple company, it shifted itself to Ireland. Why did it shift to Ireland? Because Ireland has offered huge tax benefits. So the multinational companies can be attracted into India now by offering the tax benefits. And also many of the manufacturing companies are leaving China because of the uncertain circumstances and trade tensions with the United States of America. If India can offer the tax benefits, etc., to these companies, it can be the next destination. So these are the steps India is supposed to take to revive itself, according to Harish Salve. The next article for discussion it is USCIRF. USCIRF report may prompt concerns. What is this USCIRF? It is United States Commission for International Religious Freedom. What does this mean? So there is an act, International Religious Freedom Act, IRF Act in the United States of America. So this act allows for appointment of a commission by the Congress. That commission is a bipartisan. Bipartisan commission means it consists of the members both from the Republicans and the Democrats. So USCIRF, United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, is a bipartisan commission which is meant to advise the Secretary of the State, President of United States of America, and the Congress on various matters related to religious freedom. And this particular commission recommended in its latest report to keep India as a country of particular concern. Understand? A country of particular concern. What do I mean by country of particular concern? It means there is a threat to religious freedoms in this country. Now, let us see the detail of this article. Why India is a country of particular concern? India is known for its unity in diversity, secularism, religious freedoms. Then in this context, why United States of America has made such a big decision, a commission, not just here for the last 3 years it is stating that though India has rejected it, but still it's a concern for us. When Mr. Modi was the Gujarat Chief Minister, he was not allowed to travel to the United States of America because of the advice of this particular commission. It means the commission's recommendations are taken seriously by the Secretary of the State of United States of America. So the travel restrictions can be imposed, trade restrictions can be imposed. So be careful here again. The USCIRF report is important. Why India is being made as a country of particular concern? It is because of Citizenship Amendment Act and National Register for Citizens, NRC. And second is attacks on minorities. Attacks on minorities. The next article for discussion is documenting the last honey hunting group of Arunachal Pradesh. So remember what is this group, and you know that India is known for its unity in diversity. What the diversity can offer to this country? It can offer different skills, different experiences, intellectuality, broadening of the minds, everything. So linguistic diversity is going off in India. There are many languages are disappearing. In this context, many of the native skills are also going away. So this article is about disappearing of one such native skill, which is called honey hunting in Arunachal Pradesh. Let us understand about this particular group over here. Recently, a documentary, Chi Lupo. The documentary name is Chi Lupo. It has won the Best Documentary Award. It is from Arunachal Pradesh. It has got Dada Saheb Phalke Award. That is Chi Lupo, Best Documentary. It is about honey hunting community in Arunachal Pradesh. What is the name of this community? Should Shed Kupen. Shedupen. I'm unable to spell it properly. It is Shedupen. Now, this community, new generation is not interested in learning this particular honey hunting skills, and these are disappearing now. So, this is a Tibetan Buddhism following community which practices monogamy. So, in UPSC for prelims, where this community is from, so what they are known for, you need to remember. And finally, thank you very much. Have a great day.